Welcome everybody to the October 11th Fisp meeting. Present is Mr. Ruccio, Bob Chisholm, Phil Millett, Pat Crowley, Ray Balcall, myself, and Tony DeLuzzo.
Why is he the only one who gets to miss that?
We forgot everyone's last names. It's
All right.
education and respect that.
All right, minutes of September 13th, 2017.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
We gotta change, one thing is the land held for 425,200, that was for RAC.
Was that on the bills?
Yeah.
Probably should have a motion, shouldn't we?
Huh?
Probably should have a motion.
Yeah.
Motion to,
So I motion,
accept them with the amendments,
so I motion to accept them with the amendment Mr. Hadley said.
Did everybody see that? Was, says land held.
That I just changed the motion. so
That's fine.
You want a second?
I'll second.
All right, any discussion? All in favor?
Abstain.
Police station, Tony, you wanna go ahead?
Great report. The police station is quickly coming to a close. Since we last met, we've had plumbing sign-off, electrical sign-off, fire inspection, gas inspection, and building inspection. And as of this morning, we have a temporary C of O issued on the building based on the building commissioner's walkthrough on October 5th. So you have a temporary C of O, temporary certificate of occupancy until October 5th, 2018. So that gives us a full year to do closeout of documents, which will be far more time than required. The contractor is planning on filing all of his documents for substantial completion and turnover of the building to the town by the end of next week. Punch list may linger out a couple of weeks beyond that, but punch list from the architects and engineering sub-disciplines has been issued to RAC builders, and all of the trades are actively working on the punch list items. The good thing is with the certificate of occupancy, you're able to now spread furniture out through the building. So next week, they'll be putting furniture into each of the offices, changing out the final locks from a construction core to the permanent locks, closing out those rooms and signing them off in advance of the town taking occupancy of the building. Earlier this week, I walked through with the town's insurance agent. We went through plans, fire protection, all of the permittings and sign-offs and inspections, and he is now working with Nancy and Anita to put together the town's insurance certificate on that building. So sometime within the next week, we'll transfer insurance from the builder's risk that the contractor carries over to the town, which will not only cover the building, but the contents and all of your belongings, as well as any employees, people that enter the site will then be under your insurance, other than the contractors who still carry all their own insurance. But it really means you can move into the building anytime you'd like. I know coming up on the agenda is the discussion of public open house, and we'll have insurance on the property at that time so that you can fully have the site available to anybody that wants to walk around. The budget update, I will go over budget just briefly. Quick budget update is as we come to completion, we've got a couple of invoices and a couple of new purchase items in your packets for tonight, but inclusive of those items, we're sitting here today with an anticipated variance, positive variance of $41,749 that we haven't committed to spending, and we have no allocation thereof.
That's good news.
Yeah.
One of the things for that will be the fence that we talked about.
Yeah, we're gonna talk about that.
So that's my report, my schedule, and budget update.
Okay.
Tony, do we have any lingering items with the planning board?
In the closeout documents, yes. We need to have a certificate of completion, which is part of the documentation that gets developed, and we need to submit back to them the as-built drawings.
Okay.
So we just got as-built drawings and what are called O&Ms, operation and maintenance manuals. So we've got those from the electrician and the plumber today and yesterday. We're waiting for the HVAC. We don't have the site civil, which will need to go in front of planning board. And then over the next couple of weeks, we're working with the chief and Jay to schedule training on all of those systems. So we get all the as-built in, all the operation and maintenance manuals. The engineers go through them to make sure that what is built is what's in the manual. And then we schedule times where the engineer will come out with the subcontractor and say, okay, this is how you start up the generator, this is how you cycle the testing, this is how you program your lighting, this is where all your valves are, these are where your maintenance filters are. All of that will be done probably over the next month.
I'm fine. The reason I ask is I was talking with one of the planning board members, and I guess he was concerned that maybe there were some loose ends that weren't being tended to. And what I hear you saying is that there are some loose ends, but they're being tended to.
They are, and, you know, short of going downstairs, I've reached out to the planning board anytime anybody has raised a concern. I've emailed them. I've emailed the planning board secretary. I've made the reports available, and every email ends with, if there is anybody who wants to come and visit this site, which they've had the purview to do for the last 15 months, contact me. I'm happy to walk the site with you and show you exactly what's going on. And they've never done that. So for the record, they can say there's loose ends. They have not had an interest in visiting or seeing any of the progress of this project throughout its duration.
Yeah.
Probably more than I should say, but
Well, from the committee, you have nothing. You have nothing official from the planning board?
no.
Okay.
I'm very satisfied with that answer.
That's fine.
All right, if we have nothing from the architect report, Mr. Rucho and I and Butch Jackson, DPW director, visited the two neighbors in back of the property. And he got prices on putting a fence up and planting trees back there. If everybody had a chance to look at their emails, ended up being, the fence was actually the least expensive proposition. And we talked to both neighbors, and they were both fine with the fence. So I think, talk about it.
Right, but yeah, I agree the fence is probably the best idea, but our plan was DPW was gonna put the plants, but he got a price for the,
Through the DPW.
no, he got a price for the greenery company to plant them all. And guarantee them. Right, right. So, yeah, I think the fence would be good.
Yeah, well, the cost of the plants would just be $4,300.
Right, and then 4,000 additional.
Yeah, so definitely.
My only, yes, the fence is cheaper, but my only concern is arborvitae's would last a lot longer than a fence. They're gonna be essentially forever. You might have to replace one or two of them over time. A fence,
This is vinyl now, a vinyl fence.
but even still, a vinyl fence down the road is not gonna last as long as arborvitae's. We're talking, both of them are 20-year down the road type situations, but just understand that in the long run, fence is gonna be more expensive. It's cheaper now, but the plants aren't gonna die. The fence is gonna need to be replaced.
Well, the only problem, saying the fence is not gonna, the plant's not gonna die, they have to upkeep it. It's on being a neighbor's property, so the town's not gonna be able to do that. The neighbors, this is all gonna be on the neighbor's property, this fence or the trees. So they're gonna be,
So it's not gonna be more expensive, because if something goes wrong with the fence,
we're doing this one time.
they're going to take ownership of the,
Exactly.
okay, got it.
Because all this is on the neighbor's property.
Exactly the question I had.
We're getting a permission from the neighbors to go on their property, install the fence, and then it'll be their fence.
So then it truly is a cheaper option, and they're happy with it, and the idea was to make sure that they were happy?
Exactly.
Okay.
So we did talk about, though, a 6 foot with that, like 1 foot or 1.5 foot.
Like we did in the back of the police station.
Yeah.
What do we
What are those
Slats.
heights? What are those heights? Are they 2 more feet?
It's 6 and 2. I think that's an 8.
So, I don't know if, I know that the neighbors did mention that. And this says just a 6-foot privacy fence.
Well, see, ours is that high because the site's lower. If you go up to their yard and put a fence,
I don't think you can go with.
I don't think you want 8 feet. There would be no need to go with an 8-foot fence.
I know we talked about it, so that's fine,
Yeah.
and I just know we talked about that, because they pointed at that fence.
So if you put it at the bottom, the toe of the slope,
Going up the top.
it would need to be 8. If you go up on theirs, you can go with a shorter fence.
Yeah, well, if you put it at the bottom,
Yeah.
only about 3 feet would be over the ground, so.
Exactly.
So, yeah, so that's,
So we do have talked to these people, like I said, they're gonna have to sign a permission slip for the DPW, permission for, not the DPW will be installing, a fence company will be installing, but they're still gonna have permission for us to go in there and do the work. And this has been probably something, an issue we've talked about for the last year with it, and I know Mr. Richard's been talking to them for a while about it, and we just wanna follow through as being good neighbors.
And then I would just say, make sure that they're okay with the 6-foot and not, they're not expecting a 6-foot with the lattice on top.
Okay.
As long as they're okay with the 6-foot, and this is something that the subcommittee can approve, right? It'll be under 10 either way.
I think we can do it, we can do it right
We can do it right here. Why don't we just do the motion with the understanding that it's a 6-foot fence?
There's an issue, we can bring it back.
Okay, I'll make a motion to approve 6-foot fence, 6-foot high privacy fence, for a price of $5,000.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor? All right.
Who seconded that, Chris?
Right.
Great.
Pat and Rick.
All right, the open house is October 28th, 11 a.m. There's some issues, I guess, from Anita.
I don't know about the first question.
Do you want to have a chaplain say a prayer?
Bless the building and all those who work in it.
I don't know, do we do it here, do we do it?
I don't know, when we did it here, we didn't do it.
If we asked for the third to come, I'm sure he would
Yeah.
say yes.
I had forwarded a name to Nancy that is kind of a non-denominational, not a Catholic, not a Jesuit, whatever, that lives in town at Hillside Village, that said he'd come down, so that we don't get into all the other nonsense.
Okay.
If that's what the committee wants.
Why don't we talk to?
Let's talk to Anita about that part of it.
Figure it out.
Refreshments, I think,
That's a loaded question. What type of refreshments do we?
Yeah.
What type of refreshments do you want?
Well, I was gonna bring shrimp, but that's what I was gonna set up is, coffee, snacks, that kind of thing on a couple tables in the Sally Porter, the garage area.
okay.
But it's up to you.
But you'll take care of that? or-
I'll totally take care of it.
Okay. All right.
No,
I just say
I didn't say donuts.
Defer to whatever you think is appropriate, I think.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
I don't know if we want to
We'll
leave
leave
it.
it up to the chief.
We want to leave it that open anyway.
We'll leave it up to the chief.
Okay.
Ribbon cutting, do we want to do an actual ribbon cutting? Did we talk about this?
No, I think we should. I think we did it. I think we did it here. We did it at.
You want the ribbon with the big scissors kind of thing?
Well, I mean, one time we did it that every member got a pair of scissors,
Yeah.
and we did it, and everybody cut.
It's a good photo op for the item.
All right, we'll do
Yeah,
that.
that's. I think so. We'll just pick up 10 or 15
Pierce,
blue scissors. Yeah, you know.
All right.
If we want that big set for somebody in the middle, maybe the chief. Or
Yeah, no, chief.
If we want the big set, I know we have it all we borrowed from the.
We'll choose the Chamber of Commerce.
Yeah, we'll choose it. So.
All right.
Doesn't really cut. They're not sharp.
Yeah.
We don't let you have anything that sharp anyhow.
Yeah, I don't think I'm allowed to.
I love Dennis here with us. Thank you, Jim.
What people will be allowed to wander freely in the building and have staff? Do we want to have people positioned? I think we should. You know, in various parts of the building, so when people come around, they can
I'm gonna have officers all through the building.
Okay, so you will.
I would guess the officers would be
Yeah.
better than committee members.
Okay.
They've been planning out exactly what each room is being used for
Okay.
all along.
Do you have enough people for that?
Yes.
But we'll also be there in case.
It's gonna be open.
Right.
Yeah, there's no place that people really can't go.
Are they gonna be able to go into every room?
Yep.
Yes.
Okay.
And some
Except
of
the
us
rooms
haven't
that
had a
they-
chance to go through the building yet.
Huh?
Some of us haven't had a chance to go through the building yet.
Some weren't invited.
No, every single room you can go through.
If those who haven't called me, we can make arrangements.
Well, he's giving me a little ribbon. Any other questions about this?
So
Deal.
you'll have cruises there, so people will see, you know, the ones that aren't being used or no? Just kind of.
Yeah, we're gonna basically have it set up that it's a running police station, but we don't have anything in there that people can't see so that they get to see what they paid for and how beautiful it is. I'll have police cars there, I'll have officers there in uniform.
Great.
They get to go through. My only question was, is there a segment of who's gonna speak, you know?
That we have.
That's what we definitely have to work on.
Okay, that's great. It all sounds good to me. So I'll take care of those items.
I mean, I don't think the speaking part of it will be long.
No, it's very, very, very short.
Right.
Unless you,
Unless you wanna make a long speech.
Unless we're gonna have Jay get his presentation again.
Well, if we've got representatives invited, that won't be brief.
well, we don't have to, they don't need, they're welcome to come, but we don't have to ask them to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they want to take credit for it, so.
That's why we're
And
not
that's
asking them
not
to
gonna
speak.
happen.
That's why we're not asking them to speak.
Yeah.
I'm just still waiting for the check in a minute. All right, anything else? That's all set, so,
How are we handling the outreach as far as making sure it's known?
well, this is obviously gonna be on TV, and we're gonna, at town meeting on Monday, we're gonna announce it. And then, maybe we can put something on cable TV. I'm sure we'll have,
I think that the ways that the town will do it will be through the town's website, Anita's town blog. I'm sure we'll get on Facebook, town meeting,
Yeah,
the banner, or the item, whatever it's called today. We'll probably do something on it, so.
yeah.
There'll still be-
On the board in the center of town.
Yeah.
And there'll still be people that say they
Say
want
they never
to.
heard about it,
but
so.
we'll make sure the
We said
banner,
it just now.
but definitely make sure the banner has something in it. In the date of the other planned move, when you guys are actually gonna move in?
That Monday, Dennis? Starting that Monday?
I mean, I would like to. I mean, it's not like we're leaving an apartment building, well, we kind of are. It's not like we have to get everything there that second, but I would like to, you know, move things in and get moving on it. The big thing is, we have the radios, the new radios up and operational, but we need the phone switched over and the computers, the new computer system switched over, so we gotta pick a date that we do that. And even if we have to go back and forth for a bit, that, you know, that's fine. But the furniture will be there, you know, we have a moving company that'll be coming in to move some things. But the big thing is the phones, and our radios are already operational, so. I was saying November 1st, that gives us, you know, 4 or 5 days, but,
So that next week will be,
I hope so. And I have to touch base, you know, I'll be talking to Tony and John, and Jay and everybody to make sure that that's okay.
I'm curious, with all the electronics, network wiring, communication gear, is there a formal test procedure to verify everything's fully operational before you go?
Oh, yeah. We did that with police radios already. I mean, it took 3 people plus sign-offs and, you know, testing of the radios, and we have to go to different points in town. And the computer system's already been tested, and the telephones, we just have to install them. So, I mean, Tony has like 10 checklists.
Okay.
So,
Yeah, and Gary's already working out Holden connectivity
right.
and what cameras come up over there and what bells, what buttons push here, ring there, and, yeah.
are you using the new system that we have yet? Any of the new?
We're already using the new radios. It's working out great. We're using the new computer system. We've been on that since we regionalized. The big thing is, we tested the phones. We just got to move phones there. And then, like Tony just said, we have to make sure that I'll call it closed circuit, but it's really not, that whoever's monitoring at the regional center sees what we want them to see. People get buzzed in, you know.
That whole system needs to be.
Yeah, we've had lots of checks. I meet with Holden constantly, so I'll be with them tomorrow too, so.
But will there be any point where the 911 system is non-functional, or?
No,
Completely seamless?
Yes, yeah. 911 goes directly to
The whole-
Holden.
You're already
But
running
as
there
far
anyways.
as outreach to us?
So we're-
The whole system?
911 rings directly to Holden, unless you're on a cellular, then it rings to the state police still, which is everywhere. And then they call Holden, the regional center, and then Holden radios us. So there's no interference with us moving. It's just literally the telephone's unplugging in here at the old station, plugging in where there is no spaces.
Unlike if you weren't regionalized, when we do these projects, there's a switchover time, and usually every town has a
They have a
fallback or a backup town that says, okay, hey, Clinton or Sterling or somewhere around here, for this day, you're getting our calls while we migrate our system over to the new station.
But we don't have. that.
You're already in the Holden anyway, so you're good.
And with the radios, we did the same thing. We had backups, 3 different backups. So it worked out very well.
Okay, good.
All right, senior center.
Senior Center, designs are moving along. You've got the latest plans in your packet from me, which were approved by the subcommittee. They're at the far end of your package, the floor plan by chief. Elevations, which the architect is working on, colored renderings for your upcoming presentations. The key is, I guess the biggest thing from the outside of the building, the architect wasn't able to work out was that gazebo type area on the outside of the building. So that just became a squared off kind of farmer's porch without the gazebo. The roof lines weren't working out given the height of the building. So these now reflect just that squared off front entry. He's coloring those up. This plan that you see here now is the first real site plan provided by Places, which somewhat takes the architect's previous site plan, which showed the loop, the parking, and the building, but really lays it out in more of a neighborhood, larger scale. So you can see the properties, you can see where some of the other areas are, you can see where the ball field and the other property lines are. So this is being refined and will be blown up more over the next couple of weeks.
Sure. Question. Maybe Bob will remember. The front entrance, didn't we talk about the roof here?
Yes,
And taking away the,
Cupola.
yes, that hasn't been done.
okay.
This was the one that was given out at that meeting.
So it's this plan here, is where the overhang for the cars are, it's gonna be a roof,
Right.
you know, point the roof more like this. And then this is gonna
Yeah.
be.
The cupola
Just gotta
going
be-
away.
going
I don't think at this scale with all the black on there, you'd even pick up
Well, I'm
those
pointing
lines.
at this one here, like, if you look
Right,
something more.
it'll
like
look
that.
more like that.
So, and that will,
So the carport will have a gable end and a ridge running back,
and I think we, I
tying into the main building.
think, I mean, it was talked about at the subcommittee that carport is almost a must, not a,
So we're gonna do it as a gable, not like the,
Not as a
it's
flat.
gonna be like,
Not the
it's gonna be more like,
It won't be a portico like
right.
the police
It's not like
station
police
where it's
station, it's
flat.
gonna be, yeah.
yeah, so, but, I think we agreed that that's almost a,
Yeah.
it shouldn't be an alternate. I
Yeah,
think it's
not an
very
alternate
important.
at all. That's
Um,
our recommendation, that it not be an alternate.
So we're gonna, yeah, because definitely, you don't want to come on
It'd be,
inclement weather, yeah.
it'd be sad if we built the building without that, and then a year down the road say, boy, what if we had that?
Okay.
So,
And it was essentially, if I'm not mistaken, Chris, abandon the cupola.
Yes.
Correct.
yeah, that's
I
gone.
said that.
Yep, okay, I'm sorry.
Because it.
That gable end will act as the break line of the long expanse of
That's
roof.
what, yeah.
That the architect was saying, okay, if you put the cupola up there, you just break up the long span of roof line. The gable end of the portico will do that for you and eliminate all of the water potential issues of a cupola.
Is he talking about doing just a straight up skylight that opens up into that
No,
center area?
nothing. Nothing.
That wasn't, was that gonna let light in?
Yeah,
I thought that was gonna be just for looks.
well, it was gonna be a cupola with a light well in it.
Oh,
And then we discussed, what does that long-term mean for maintenance, potential leaks? And then to just put a fake one up there, you're better off just doing the gable end on the portico.
no, that's, okay.
We did in fact do all the test borings. We haven't done test pits out there. Terracon completed all their geotechnical reports. Good findings in the area of the building that was demolished. Everybody kind of was wondering what was there. It does appear to have been filled in with gravel fill. So it wasn't like they mashed the old building into the hole. We weren't coming up with roof parts and pieces and wood timber and other stuff from construction. So it appears, at least from the borings, which are only this big.
Yeah.
You do some test pits, you might find something else here and there, but for the most part, we encountered ledge anywhere from 3 feet below topsoil down to 7 or 8 feet, you hit ledge. So there's a lot of bedrock up there, there's a lot of ledge. We're looking now over the next couple of weeks at where the utilities go. How do we get utilities in? How do we put foundations in? That may mean tweaking the facing of the building, turning, but trying to minimize ledge removal in any areas that we can. We don't need to be up there blasting and hammering ledge just to put in a shallow foundation. So that will tweak the building and the utilities a little bit, but
Shouldn't change it much.
it shouldn't change much.
Tony, John had mentioned the other day that something that I hadn't given any thought to, and it didn't really register until after I got thinking about it a day or two later. And that is that I've been of the assumption that it would be nice if everything was ledge up there. But he was saying that we may run into areas where the ledge disappears and it might be underneath part of the building, part ledge, part fill. And how are we going to address that?
That's why they're gonna try to tweak the building a little. We now have the depth. And so they have the borings all across the building to know where the footings go. So if 3/4 of the building is on fill, then it may make sense to remove the ledge of that other 25%. If 3/4 of the building is on ledge, then it doesn't make sense to remove 3/4 of it. You will either pour a deeper foundation and pin all to ledge so that it's all sitting on. What you don't want is different materials which move at different differential settlement during frost. It's either all on ledge or not. Other than that, you get into stepping foundations, but keeping it all on soil. So even if the ledge is higher, you may go down to the ledge, scrape off all the dirt, build up structural fill, and create a pad, which then means all of the footings are on structural fill, sitting on ledge at various levels. And you've got to balance that out. And it becomes a cost game. How much is it to remove the ledge? How much is it to import fill, right? Other than that, maybe they look at it and say, you know what? If we lift the whole building up a foot, can we regrade the pavement so that we bring the building up a foot? Nobody's gonna know, right? It won't really be visible to the eye, but you'll get the whole building a foot up above ledge, and that may prove to be the cheaper value. So they'll work that out over the next couple of weeks.
I heard a comment again from a member of the planning board. And he had suggested that softball field, the athletic field that's there, that be raised by fill that we're gonna be generating from somewhere.
We don't, we asked that, remember we asked?
Why?
They said there won't be that much fill. we won't be taking in that much fill to do that anyway, first of all.
I mean, you're not gonna be taking fill, but you're gonna be scraping off all that topsoil.
Right, but I don't think it's
But I
enough.
mean, you're not gonna put a foot of topsoil, every time it rains, you're just gonna be in mud.
Okay.
So, again, I'm happy to work with the planning board, love to have their input, they'll have plenty of opportunity. But is there anything wrong with the existing ball field, would be my first question.
Yes, there is, but I don't think bringing a foot of fill is gonna fix the problem.
It needs a real drainage solution.
Right.
Yeah, it's not, I don't think, like you just said, bringing a foot of fill.
That isn't gonna
make that
It's gonna make
drainage.
it worse.
Yeah, a puddle under a foot of fill.
Foot of fill isn't gonna increase the size of right field.
We got 5 feet of fill down the end of the table, but, you know, it's not helping. I was trying.
That was a good one, Phil.
I was trying. But no, if there's an issue, I mean, we can figure out ways to address it. We're gonna run drainage through the site. I don't know if that means you run a couple of finger drains in there. I don't know what problem they're trying to solve.
Nor do I.
There's issues, but I don't think they're easily fixed. Maybe you can talk to the DPW director as we get into construction.
Okay.
And the other thing I think we talked about is the current roadway or driveway. We were leaning towards, again, we have a brand new building here, but we leave that,
No,
that we fix that
Repave.
at the same time.
Absolutely.
Repave it, skim it, or whatever it needs to get.
And we'll have time. We're a bit of ways from picking at alternates and what's in the contract and what's out, but
And we can look at if the DPW does it with our company, but, you know, it'd be kind of another situation where you have a brand new building, but you drive over the same dirt.
Right.
I mean, the same driveway, that's all. In
That's-
district here.
Back to the drainage issue though, if, when we're in there, obviously there's gonna be drainage for this building, we should look and see if it's a short add-on to fix the drainage. I mean, if it's $800,000, no, but if it's $80,000, maybe. So we should definitely look at that. I mean, it puddles. I saw it years ago, duck in a pond.
It's not puddles, it's a small pond.
Yeah, it was a duck when my kid was playing t-ball on the ground.
You've been at the police station, you know what that detention basin is. If you had to hammer or blast out ledge to create that type of a detention basin, you're sitting on ledge. It doesn't seep very well.
Understood, but I mean, it's certain, we can certainly look at it and.
Yes.
And if there's a
Yes.
viable solution that's not cost prohibitive, we should consider it.
Okay.
It is, the current property is higher than the field, so.
Right.
I don't know, you have to drain it.
No,
So, right, it's tying into whatever storm drains you have
That would be uphill.
out in the street.
Yeah, right.
Well, you're not gonna run it uphill,
Right.
but like you say, tie it in. We had dig safe. I don't think there's any catch basins or drainage in that loop road, so I don't know what's out in Prescott.
If you go down like half a mile or so and drain onto the left-hand side,
If the water can go up,
that's where he lives.
Tony can do it.
We can swim it right in there.
Any chance we could tap CPC funds to pay for drainage enhancement in the field?
Yeah, because we can use, CPC funds can be used for existing parks now. That's a recent one, a couple-year-old change, but yeah.
So we have a funding source if we actually want to do something with the
But
field.
we're also talking about, in this project, but the parks may not think that that's the biggest project that needs to be done in the parks. You know, we may be talking about it because this project's going on, but they may not, they might have issues that come into the CPC for other things that we don't know.
It's just a question, do we get a real value out of doing it together or not? I don't know.
Well,
If the DPW
if we know that's what we're trying to solve, we can at least start reviewing it from an engineering standpoint and say, is it feasible? What are the other options? So we can start to develop, if we know what the problem is, what the solution is. I can't develop a solution based on, hey, planning board said they'd like you to fix the playground, and I don't even know what the playground is.
Don't be mistaken. this was not coming from the planning board.
Okay.
This was one member,
Yeah, right.
a costume who happens to be on the planning board.
Okay.
We can maybe reach out to the Parks Commission and
Absolutely.
tell them with
We'll do that.
Butch
Alright.
at the same time.
And I was curious, in this current design concept, it seems to me, I remember one of the single loudest complaints that Lisa had about current space is there weren't many private office areas to have private discussions with seniors. This has one per office.
I don't recall that being an issue.
No, I can say categorically that Lisa is very much on board.
Really?
She never, I don't recall it ever being an issue with this.
No.
That's,
She was concerned
I've
about.
definitely heard that at length. Maybe it wasn't Lisa. maybe-
Well, we have the wellness room for the doctor to.
That's what it was a wellness room that.
That needs to be a
Having
separate-
privacy from, other people, and this solves that
This
problem.
doesn't.
I think that's what,
I think it was from her predecessor, it was, that
Okay.
was the biggest complaint.
She's got the director's office, and she could obviously use any of those.
And before I had left, I'd asked if they would take a look at a fireplace in here, if that made any sense for anyone.
There is one.
It's that unit, right?
in the lounge.
Double-sided between the lobby and
Really?
the comfy lounge sitting area.
Okay, cool.
Well, it's in the lounge, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Where is it? This right here?
No, it's a dog bone in the middle.
Yeah, the kind of wishbone thing. Dog bone, right.
and there's still some, so this plan, there's still some talk of taking out some doors here in the kitchen. That's gonna be in the future. plan.
Small refinements. But the square footage, the general layout, the sizes of the rooms
It's all staying.
should be pretty much go forward at this point.
The question that has come up is, do we need those two bathrooms beside the wellness room? And I guess the question was asked, wouldn't one be sufficient? If we didn't have two, what useful purpose could we put that extra square footage to?
Well, I think if you really said, geez, we don't need two, or what would two do, I might leave them there. The whole point was length of travel, elderly. Okay.
Well, the wellness room,
And-
close to the wellness room.
If you needed to really put a door on one of them into the wellness room to make it so somebody didn't even have to go out around, you could do that.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I would presume to leave them there.
It's a lot
If you
easier
have a
when
large
it's
event
done
with
now.
seniors.
Yeah, I would definitely.
So, I mean, those are kind of changes that we can make relatively easy.
Exactly.
Is two better than one? Certainly.
I think keeping it open to for the public to use is a win, just to
Yeah,
make sure.
absolutely.
Because then if it's in the wellness room, that room's locked off.
Right.
You can't get to.
But you can have it, you could have it open to the public and also open into the wellness room.
It would need to be bigger, because you get, they're all meant for handicap circles.
You get a 5 feet.
And so you'd have to move the sink, make the room a little bigger to add for another doorway.
Plus, it's always an issue.
I think we leave the way it is. I think it's fine.
Kind of sorry I raised the issue.
No, I think,
That's what we're here to discuss.
I think the plan looks good, and
Yeah.
make the changes that are being made, I think it's, the whole, cafe area, he did some work on, so I think it's,
The feedback that Lisa is getting has been very favorable.
Good.
Excellent.
and the porch, the wrap of that porch around is great, it looks nice.
So while we're discussing, I don't know where it is on the agenda, but while we're discussing the senior center, what time would we like to meet on Monday, the 16th? Which is our next scheduled senior center meeting.
I haven't.
And I think we had a discussion of alternating times, which meant we met at 3:45 last time. So we would meet earlier this time, next time, which would be the 16th. And the 16th is to go over the basis of design for the mechanical, electrical, plumbing systems, fire protection, and any green initiatives, which we've heard, short list from Caitlin of low-impact site development, some of the solar concerns that she may be able to help with the grant, and we've talked about the solar panels. What other types of green initiatives are we trying to get into this building that we maybe didn't consider?
Won't that gable portico,
It'll take away a good percentage of the available space for panels.
but it won't preclude.
No,
He said that.
But then it becomes moot, I mean,
but you're a
why do you really
municipal light.
wanna do it if you're not gonna get maximum
Right,
benefit from it?
right, and you're a municipal light plant. You're not able, like some communities, to say, hey, I'm gonna build a solar field and I'm gonna sell it all back to N-Grid, and I'm not gonna have to pay their rates. You're a muni light. Most of them don't buy back energy anyways. So you've got a lower rate, you're the municipality. Where's the benefit?
That's the reason why so few houses in town have panels.
Yeah.
It's because it's not, it's cost prohibitive.
The payback isn't there.
Yeah.
If you look at the payback, you're not gonna get it.
But if through Caitlin's work, if we could get it as a grant, I
Yeah,
would be doing it.
absolutely.
Free. Or,
I mean, I think we need to look at
Because
that.
over the lifespan, you're gonna spend more on maintaining it.
Maintaining it and roof
than
issues, I just think.
Your electricity is
I
gonna
wouldn't
cost
want
you
this
at
on
the
the
muni
roof.
rate anyways.
I wouldn't build a building for the solar plant. If they can come, I'd rather see us build our building, and then if she can come up with some design for a solar field, something like that, or something like that, but I would not build this building just to have, so you put solar on it. That does not make sense.
Save
to me.
a few $1,000 on
Exactly.
that, and then the roof.
Because then, I mean, it's when the shingles go, what do? You gotta take the,
Yeah.
solar panels off and.
I think that's the reason why a lot of people don't have them on their houses.
That's
For those
absolutely
issues,
right.
Once they look into it. Tony, I had a subcommittee meeting on the 26th at 6 PM. That's what I put in my
Yeah,
calendar.
because the 13th is town meeting.
The 16th is down.
16th.
Yeah.
Oh.
So I had the
Oh, that,
26th.
so we jumped that?
Yeah, I put that in the calendar, and that was my thought, unless you think we need one earlier.
My calendar is the 16th, 3:30.
I don't have anything. The day we had our other meeting, we didn't talk about the 16th.
Okay, so we can't do it on the 16th anyways.
No, I guess we could. I mean, town meeting is 7
So-
o'clock at night. But
The only thing I ask is, we're gonna bring this up in a little thing, I mean, if you guys finish the date first.
yeah, I don't, whatever you think. 3:30, you know,
16th or the 23rd isn't gonna matter for the design schedule. All I wanna know is which Monday you guys wanna meet, what time.
okay, so the 26th is nothing.
26th is a Thursday.
You got nothing,
That's-
because
yeah.
I had that down as a meeting.
That shouldn't even happen.
Okay. It's gone. So the 16th or the 23rd. I think the 3:30 on the 16th could be cutting it close, because the Board of Selectmen members have to be at town meeting at 6.
Okay?
So that would be close. So if you want to go the 23rd,
Okay? There's 3 of you here, which makes up the subcommittee, so go for it.
what time do you guys want? You want an early morning? I know that we're making issues because Lisa has a hard time being there at 3:30, right? So
And quite frankly, so do I.
you ever talk, oh, I didn't think you had an issue in the afternoon.
Yeah, I do. I've got a,
Yeah, okay,
not unbreakable.
yeah. So you want something early morning on the 23rd? Time do you get to town?
Cool. I try to be as flexible as possible, so I will change things in order to make the meeting.
9 o'clock?
Perfect.
9 is fine. Senior Center?
You got it.
That's the 23rd at 9 o'clock.
And we do not have a meeting on the 26th,
No.
of course, then. Okay.
Or the 16th.
No? 9 AM on the 23rd. I will send an appointment out.
So, do you have anything else in your report?
Only invoices.
Okay, let's talk, architecture report, we don't have anything. Anything else on senior center? On October 16th town meeting, we're gonna do a little presentation about the senior center, Phil.
What's that, John?
This presentation for the senior center,
What about
were you gonna speak a little bit of what's going on?
it? If you want me to, I will.
But the only thing I ask is whatever plans, if you're planning to show some plans, is what the latest ones you guys have. I just don't wanna show anything now that, if it's
If
gonna
it's
change.
not the latest iteration.
Yeah, exactly.
Now, was Council on Aging planning to do something, Bob?
Yeah, we have a council on aging report under section 1,
Excellent.
and it will have the most recent renderings that John is working on. And I believe Anita is putting that 2-minute PowerPoint presentation.
And you will be speaking, or somebody will,
I'll be presenting it.
so then Phil doesn't have to.
So I don't have to.
Well, then, but we're going back to what you said.
But I just wanna make
The most
sure,
recent ones aren't the.
Yeah.
So maybe if we can get, if we won't have anything different by the.
There you go, John's gonna have those out this week.
So we'll
Okay,
get-
good.
We'll get the newer
Just-
ones, what they,
He's coloring them up this week.
because I wanna get out to the public, but I don't want them to see it before it's the right one we're gonna have. Well, we'll make sure it's the right one we're gonna send out to them.
I think this plan, the floor plan will be,
The floor plan's
is
correct.
almost perfect. It's just the front view.
The floor plan has been on display, and what's on display down at the senior center right now is what you see here.
Yeah, it's the, those are the, yeah, but you're
Okay.
saying town meeting. So we'll get the newer one before
Yeah.
town meeting.
All right,
So she can make in the PowerPoint.
and then that'll be
No
part
waiting
of,
for that-
that'll
for that
be part of the PowerPoint.
Lisa and Anita coordinating that. I've written the report, and the report's ready to go.
And the only thing on the police station, I'm just gonna announce it's finished, and we're gonna have the ribbon cutting on the 28th.
Boy, I certainly would like to see the fact that we're under budget.
Yeah, I think we've got to drive home some of the positives with this.
Yeah.
My only issue with saying we're under budget is somebody's gonna stand up and say, what do you mean you're under budget? Your budget was $2.7 million, you spent 5, and you returned back 50,000? I don't wanna go there.
Yeah.
I don't wanna, I would just be silent as to that.
I mean, under budget 40,000, what percentage is 41,000? Minus 5 for the fence, minus a few other issues we may have. It might be
Yeah, I wouldn't say under budget, I'd say we're on
On
budget.
budget.
on budget.
I wouldn't even mention anything about the budget,
I was
because,
gonna say it's been completed,
yeah,
and we're having.
plated looks great, we have an open house, we encourage you to come and look,
Exactly.
and leave it at that.
On schedule, how about
On
that?
schedule, yeah.
Ahead of schedule.
Ahead of schedule, actually. It is 2 months ahead of schedule, right? Actually,
Ahead of schedule and on budget, I like.
Okay.
I can serve that up to most people every day.
Again, I hesitate to say on budget, because we went back.
and get more.
That's okay. Since I got here, I'm on budget. I put in all my sales literature, on time and on budget. Whatever we say. We don't know what Tony says.
All right, so we're all set with that. So we're just gonna make a one-thing speech about that, and then you're gonna do the senior center.
So under Article 1, this committee's gonna say something about the police
I'm just
station?
gonna get up and say that the police station is finished, and we will have an open house on October 28th.
At 11 a.m.
And then,
Come in, yes,
and then the senior center will, then.
well, then the moderator will pick who goes next.
I don't know.
I think it would be really good if the chief could get up for a couple of minutes and basically thank the town for support. We're gonna have all these great new advantages and.
I'll ask him to do that. Okay, I'll do that.
And Bob, on your report, when you give the floor plan and the plans, I would just say, these are still being developed, this is where we're at now, we're very close to what the final thing is gonna look like, or something along those lines.
Not even touching that.
Okay,
All we're talking about is a report of the activities at the senior center for the past year.
Oh, so it's not about the new building?
That's mentioned almost parenthetically. There's only a sentence and a half.
okay, so then, that's something
That's
different.
not this committee's
Right, so
update on the,
So we need,
Yeah, I thought you guys, so Phil, we are gonna need you.
glad I mentioned it.
I know. So you'll,
So you're not gonna be
Talk
talking
about
about
some remarks.
progress on the
And get
new,
them over to you so that you can.
excellent,
review.
excellent, okay.
you're gonna report on the existing senior center.
Yes.
Then Phil's gonna do it on the, proposed new senior.
So under Article 1, this subcommittee will have two different
Right.
speakers.
Yeah,
You'll talk, maybe the police chief will talk,
yeah,
and Phil will talk.
yeah,
Wait, right.
So we'll have to put that together before,
yeah, we will.
so we have.
I'll work it out when I need it.
And I'll send you a copy of what Lisa has already submitted as her report
What?
on the senior center.
The new current senior center?
No,
No, you guys, you're still gonna do the report on your existing senior center, I would assume.
that's right.
He's the council on aging. That's
Council
under
on-
that.
oh, I'm sorry, council, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
all right. All right, let's go over invoices, Cardinal Police Station invoice number 18, $7,479.81.
Second?
Who moved?
Chris?
Yeah, and Ray seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Senior center, nothing on the,
Senior Center, nothing from
view,
Caleb, no, you do have one from me in your packet.
on the senior center?
On the Senior Center,
What's the total? And invoice number?
invoice number 3,
Yeah.
in the amount of $4,351.
So moved, Cardinal for the senior center, invoice number 3 for $4,351.
Second.
All in favor?
Pat seconded it.
Aye.
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 Then we have, Colin Bennett, Police Station invoice number 5618, $4,667, is that right?
Yes, 4,667, number 5618.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
What's the remaining balance on their funding line?
Kayla Bianic,
Yeah.
I think they have one
No, it's
more
prison
invoice
use,
left.
prison bat.
Is there any reason to expect there be any need for any kind of extension?
No.
Good. I'll say that. Keel and Bennett for the,
Nothing.
RAC for the police station,
Yes, you have in your packet a application number 10 in the amount of $189,562.
where are we seeing that?
You were seeing that in the packet that I gave
I
out.
have it.
One more back, it's second.
I'm just in the back page, is it double-sided?
Yeah.
Double-sided.
My copy's not.
So moved.
That's a different copy.
So moved for RAC for the police station.
Right.
This is number 10.
My packet, police station budget, right there.
So this is considered.
Application 10
Application 10
for
for
the month of
100
September.
month of September, $189,562.
We have a motion, we have a second?
Second.
All right, what does that leave them?
Leaves you holding a balance of $253,996 to close out their punch list items, which is more than enough.
And is that plus, there's a retainage on top of that?
That's including their
So
retainage.
okay.
Their retainage is actually 207.
Yeah, I saw the numbers, I thought it
Yeah.
was the 207 plus
No,
the 250.
that full balance includes the
44,100 plus
retainage.
this, Plus that, minus this.
Got it, okay.
All right,
So we
anybody, any other discussion?
got- Someone second it?
Yeah,
I did.
got it. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, and then,
What happened to the CVA?
There's nothing.
there's nothing.
CBA did not submit an invoice for the senior center.
Okay,
She's out this week. She got the, one out last week on the police station and nothing on the senior
Do you have
center.
any other invoices?
I don't have other invoices, but I have other commitments, so to speak. In your packet that I handed out, there's a proposal from Acuity that came in for, their short some amount of Ethernet connections in the building. They needed to add another network switch, and apparatus or accessories that go along with it to the tune of $1,449 for Acuity.
So that needs to be paid.
it needs to be approved as a proposal, then after they do the work, they'll submit the invoice.
And that was in your budget though, you had already.
Yes, we have money set aside still for technology.
This is something that they requested after, in Cameron Parade also, said it was important, we needed to do
This
it.
is just coming out of the technology
Right.
budget line items, I don't know.
It is in the overall budget.
So the bill for acuity for $1,449.
Correct.
That's my motion. So
Second.
we're paying it, or we're just
We're just approving the
Moving it.
proposal.
approve the proposal
Alright.
for that?
You all set, Phil?
I think,
Second by
I had
Ray.
second.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, just for clarification, you said it's already been allocated, so the variance that we're seeing here, 41,749, already
Includes that
anticipates this.
expenditure, encumbrance, I should say.
Okay, good.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anything else?
If everybody could just turn to this page, the police station budget, got some blue highlight on it. There was several emails that went around today. I don't know who's gonna eventually see them, but I wanted to point out what the blue shading numbers are. The insurance company asked for the cost of the building, the technology, any equipment that went into it, not any soft costs associated with the design and construction thereof. So I took those four numbers, which is the cost of construction, furniture and equipment, computer technology, and communications equipment, and gave them those numbers, whatever that adds up to, 4 million and some change. I've given that to Nancy.
Don't you usually replacement cost, wouldn't that?
I
You don't know
I
anything
can't
about
give them that number, and they're gonna add a percentage.
I'm telling you because they've asked me to give them a number of.
Well, I would think
They're
that.
gonna go to square feet.
I would think that we would go replacement cost, so, I mean, if something happened to it and you have to build it over again, you still have to do the soft cost.
Yeah, but I mean, you still have to give them the baseline number to
Yeah.
build up their,
One thing I'm almost positive of, insurance companies are gonna make sure we have plenty of insurance for them to cover their costs,
Okay.
and they're gonna charge us for it. It never seems to be a problem.
I just,
Yes.
somebody's gonna ask what's the blue, or some number's gonna come up and somebody's gonna say, where'd that number come from? That's where. Flipping through, there's a budget for the police, for the senior center, and an executive summary. I do have one other invoice to address at the back of your packet. Cogswell Sprinkler, a couple weeks ago, you approved $1,300 for the flow test. This is in the packet that was dropped off on Anita's desk. It is an invoice to be paid. You previously approved the proposal. They went and flowed the hydrant. They tested the hydrant. There's an existing hydrant up near where the old school was. So they tested that. They flowed the one out on the street. This work has been done, and you now have an invoice for $1,300. Looking to be approved.
So moved.
Second.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
That concludes my invoices.
Thank God.
I've missed a couple of meetings, but the approved budget at 1,090,000 represents what exactly? Obviously, it's not the total project cost.
What?
For which project?
For the
Senior
senior
center.
center.
The
That's the
initial,
amount that was approved.
the initial, you mean?
Yeah, and this 1,090,000
Yeah.
that is in the current approved budget is not the full amount we've been authorized to spend. What exactly?
No,
does
that
it
was a
represent?
full amount. It was 1.1.
That's right.
1.1
Yeah.
for town meeting.
Yeah, thank you.
Anything
What's
else?
that next, when do we have?
We're gonna make a, so let's just go back on to, when you guys meet on the 23rd, do you think there'll be a final meeting for the subcommittee?
Tony, I guess, I don't know, but Tony did, oh, yeah, okay. So I mean, so we're gonna plan on meeting,
Well, let's plan on meeting
At
the,
that point, the architect and designers will fully move in a structural, mechanical, electrical, working detail drawings. Probably will not need to meet as a subcommittee for a month to review, 50%, 70% documents and an estimate. sometime in November before we go to bid.
So, will this committee need to meet before?
We have a meeting scheduled for the 25th, I have it in the calendar, because that's
Yeah.
usually,
That's just our normal month.
that's our normal, so why don't we just keep the
Well-
25th?
Um,
It'll be a few days before the open house, if we have any issues. For the police station,
open house.
Yeah.
for the police station, 28th.
Yeah, because this committee meets every 2 weeks, so the 25th. Yeah, we won't have final invoices and everything. I don't know what we'll have.
So if you don't, I don't.
So,
I don't expect to see another invoice from RAC and the subs and all that until closeout, which will probably come somewhere the end of the month, but not be due for,
and as far as the senior center, you won't have any drawings or anything, there'll be nothing for this committee to look at on the 25th.
I doubt it.
So why don't we make it
We
the
could go
second
to
week
the
of
8th.
Tuesday?
We could go to the 8th.
Yeah, is that okay with
We're gonna
everybody?
cancel the 25th meeting?
Yeah, make it November 8th. Is that Tuesday, second Tuesday? Second Wednesday?
Yeah.
So cancel the 25th,
Make it November 8th at 7 o'clock. And obviously, it's like always, if anything come up that's emergency, something like that, would always.
And it always seems when we cancel a meeting, something comes
That's
up. so-
exactly it.
So the 8th, not the 25th.
Right.
The
I
night
already
of.
had a meeting on the 8th.
I think you might.
That's our normal,
Yeah.
we
We can do it every other week.
Now I have two meetings scheduled at the same time for the same committee.
there you go.
That's gonna really screw you up.
See, twice as efficient.
All right,
Get double pay.
anything else?
Concept, project flow here. At what point in time do we sign off on a design, this committee? Before they start investing a ton of energy into working out the.
For the
beginning?
senior center,
Yeah,
this committee did that at the last meeting.
oh, really, okay.
You voted yes.
Good.
All right,
Do you have a problem with the plan?
I'm sorry?
Do you have an issue with it?
Well, this is the first time I'm seeing it, so.
no, they came in the last meeting, they had a full set of drawings and stuff like that, and everybody voted on it.
What?
Yeah, the red circle.
Okay.
Anything else to talk about?
I think so.
Do you have a motion?
Yeah, I did have one question. From finance committee perspective, we did get some of the projected budgets for various town departments going forward, looking at kind of 5-year planning. The fire department had put in $1 million placekeeper for the renovations to the fire station. I have some concern that numbers like that get into circulation, meaning something other than a pure guess. That someone will start saying, okay, well, you're spending $1 million on this. And it's like, well, no, that's just a placekeeper.
I've never
I don't know why it would be.
heard a request, I've never heard anything about it.
Yeah, we're not,
honestly.
I think,
I don't think we should talk, say anything about it, or do anything about it, because obviously, they've never asked us about anything yet.
well, I think we all, this committee agrees that that's a project that needs to be looked at,
Right.
but it's not, doesn't need to be looked at right
Right.
now.
You know, just for the record, and that there is no expected specific budget because we haven't scoped the
Right.
project yet.
Okay.
But this is just your 5-year plan that you're talking about,
Yeah, the budget requests that are
CIP?
coming in for 5 years.
Okay.
Would you like a scope and budget?
So we get something solid.
You're way too willing.
We'll come back and talk about it. All right.
Make a
Anybody-
motion to adjourn?
second.
All in favor?
Aye.